Okay. So it didn't give me the, there you go. Um, uh, the way this is set up is that the attendees see only the speaker. So when Darren speaks, it's going to switch to him. Oh, I got to make him a co-host. That's what's going to happen with this. So, okay, thanks for reminding me, Dee. Hold on. This is how we work that. And it works out very well for everybody. Okay. All right. So welcome. Here we go. This is our monthly seminar on the magic of life insurance. And every time we do this, I'm reminded of the magic of this product. And the goal here is to help others appreciate this and give people insights into the purchase of this product, how the industry works, how the companies work, how the products work, and address popular or current themes or trends to see for whom that might be applicable. I'm joined today by Darren Hardison, my trusted Friar Tuck of the last 15 years, financial planner and insurance underwriter. I guess that makes me Robin Hood, but that's fine. And we're going to address the topic of accelerated underwriting, which actually, and the reason why we're doing this, it's come up in prior seminars. It comes up in the industry journals. You see it on websites a lot. So obviously, different thought leaders, different people in the business are talking about it. So we're going to provide some clarity. So having said that, Darren, why don't you tell our audience, can you summarize what exactly is meant by the phrase accelerated underwriting?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Just real quick background, and then we'll, define it and such. So I want to say it's probably been 10 years. It doesn't seem like it, but the first concept of accelerated underwriting, I had to research this because I couldn't remember the company. Principal is known as the company who had this vision of streamlining the underwriting process. Steve, you and I know sometimes it's not a streamlined process, and it can be challenging and difficult, even for a healthy person. So what the insurance companies were acknowledging is that they were spending millions and millions of dollars underwriting people, medical records, examinations, lab works, et cetera, and they weren't always gleaning a lot of useful data because the people were completely healthy. So the thought process was, hey, is there a smarter way using technology to do certain things, maybe, on our end, meaning the insurance company, and make life easier on the client, not make them jump through as many hoops, and still issue them a life insurance policy satisfying, their risk parameters. Is that a good place to start, I think?
I think it is. But you did make the point of indicating that they were paying for requirements that weren't necessary.
Correct.
So, like, what are some examples of those requirements that were eliminated?
So here's what they're doing. And again, so fast forward, we always say, well, in most industries, if there's a novel new idea, then other companies, other firms, they emulate it, they copy it. And the insurance industry is a copycat industry. So now virtually any company that we work with has some version of an accelerated underwriting program. So for instance, there's parameters, there's always parameters. If an individual is applying for life insurance and say they're up to the age, everybody's a little different. Let's say to age 50, some go to 55, some go to 60, within certain thresholds of insurance, $1 million, $2 million, there's a handful that go up to 3 million. So if they potentially qualify from an age and a death benefit standpoint, then they automatically get kicked into this accelerated underwriting platform. Then it goes into this rules-based, I don't want to call it an algorithm or artificial intelligence, but it's kind of in that vein. And then what happens is, based on the rules that they build into their system, it starts checking boxes. Okay, this person's of the right age, it's of the right amount. And then they'll run all these internal indices that they subscribe to: prescription database, medical claim database, LexisNexis, all these various information sources. And based on the data that they compile, they're checking boxes. And then if enough boxes get checked, then that individual is literally accelerated through the underwriting process and given the green stamp. So, you've got that person 50 years old. He checks all their internal rules-based, database parameters, and a policy, is literally produced within a couple days, versus, just for anybody watching, under normal parameters, at least in the past, you do an application, then it goes for initial review. They're still doing their index lookups. They're going to schedule an insurance exam based on how much insurance, and then they're going to do lab work. Maybe there's an EKG. So again, the whole premise of this is, let's not kid ourselves. Insurance companies don't want to spend any more money than they have to. So if they can spend less in underwriting and make this a more pleasurable experience, they know they're going to sell more. Sure as heck, Steve, makes our life a lot easier, makes our clients' life a lot easier. So that's the whole premise of accelerated underwriting.
I get that. That brings up a few things. Well, so first of all, what you're saying is what's basically being streamlined are things like the insurance company purchasing a copy of the applicant's medical records from their attending physician, and also what's potentially being eliminated is a visit from an examiner to take lab specimens.
Yeah.
Those are the two. Those are the two chief time-consuming and costly activities that are being streamlined, correct?
Yeah, and not to mention the human cost of a live underwriter, a human being, paying for their time to work, to work the case, versus without that, it's literally going through, a computer program to see if it qualifies.
Yes. So internally, the insurance companies are reducing overhead, potentially even eliminating personnel
Mhm.
because of the availability the availability and access to a lot of these databases. I think I've had people, clients of mine, express a lot of surprise. What, they have a record of my prescriptions?
Yeah.
Things like this. Yeah. So that's saying that one of the societal trends that's made accelerated underwriting possible for insurance companies has been the development of these huge databases that monitor consumer activity.
Yeah, yeah. On one hand, I mean, we have our own personal opinions on
Yes, we do.
databases and such, but it is widely used for good in many instances.
It is used for good. In our arena, especially when we deal with people who might have a few bumps and bruises, people who might have um, a health condition or a financial mark on their record, like a bankruptcy, things like
Yeah.
this. Maybe there's prior drug use. These are people that I like to steer away from any kind of fully, primarily automated process because they needed advocates.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, there needs to be a person in the insurance company that needs to be informed about the glass being half full on this applicant, and only a broker can do that. Some kind of artificial intelligence that's accessing databases is not going to put in context some of the information that's going to be gathered.
Yeah, and I was going to chime in there for our viewers. If this makes anybody really nervous versus excited, no, it's never going to replace underwriting, traditional underwriting. So what's happening in reality, and Steve, you and I see this, and I'll try to mention this to clients up front. Um, Everybody within parameters will go through the accelerated process. If you don't qualify, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means their automated process, enough boxes didn't get checked. Or maybe you had a prescription at CVS or Walgreens that came up for something and they didn't know why. So all that means is your file gets moved to traditional underwriting. Doesn't mean you still can't qualify for a great rate or get favorable treatment. It's just they're trying to carve out a certain percentage. And I'm not saying I don't believe them, but some of the companies are touting as much as 50% success for clients that fall into that accelerated underwriting, initial qualification box. I don't think it's that high. Then again, we specialize in clients, that might have, certain issues that need, our advocacy, like you said. But it's a good thing. It's a neat process, especially more so for our younger clients. A lot of them just sail right through. I mean, they don't have any medications, they don't have any medical histories. They fortunately haven't done anything exciting enough to be flagged in any databases. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. And it's especially important that the companies are not relying exclusively on artificial intelligence to underwrite people. If there's, if the system doesn't work, they do pivot to the traditional way. I think that's important for people to know. Um,
It's a tool. It's a tool. It's a tool they're embracing. Virtually every company is embracing it. So, it's important for us to talk about it. So, our clients and professional partnerships know that it's something that's happening. Um,
yes, and I'll tell you, I've seen an extreme version of this with these online platforms where the entire process from application to approval to policy issue is completely automated. I actually have one of those installed on my website where somebody could go and log in and ask and answer a bunch of questions, and if they get the right answers, then 10 minutes later their policy is emailed to them.
yeah,
It's been used like twice, and it's a trend that I've watched for the last 10 years or so, and I've developed a real bias against it. I understand that there's a certain segment of consumers that are very do-it-yourselfish, that are have this kind of thing where, what do I need a professional for? I think I know what I'm doing. I read enough stuff on websites to feel like I'm a self-educated insurance consumer, so I'll just go at it, get it done. Just like after I purchase something else on Amazon, I'll purchase some life insurance from this platform.
yeah,
I think that a lot of most consumers do themselves a disservice there, and the trend against getting the advice of professionals, I think, is not a healthy trend. And frankly, and from what I understand, at least in feedback from the company that I do business with and what I've seen elsewhere, it's not a huge moneymaker. I think a lot of these, and again, this is at the far end of the accelerated underwriting process where it's completely
yeah,
automated. What you've been describing is a component of traditional underwriting, but in the extreme version, I'm kind of glad it's not booming, because you really cannot commodify this product, and that's what they're trying to do. And it's making it too simple. And as a result, in my opinion, people are ending up with insufficient coverage, paying too much, and setting themselves up for problems later on, because without thinking about the need for insurance, they just say, well, I only want to spend $100 a month, so I'll get 20-year term, and then 20 years later, they find they still need life insurance and the premium has quadrupled. And like, well, now what do I do? So I think people are being underserved by the completely automated process. Would you
Yeah,
agree with that?
yeah, absolutely. And a quick add-on there, we were discussing a client a few days ago using a similar process. I don't want to say he didn't fully disclose some very critical details that would have impacted the issuance of a policy. My point being, if you're just answering questions in some sort of a system space, and if you don't know how to answer it properly, you're potentially exposing yourself to having a policy that you may, not you, you'll be gone, but if you pass away, your beneficiary could very well have issues collecting the death benefit, which defeats the whole purpose of having the peace of mind. In his instance, it wasn't medical, but it was, certain occupational things that his initial application didn't prompt him to answer completely. So just another reason why, we always tell pre-qualification, speaking
Right.
with us in real time so we can gather the data that we know the insurance companies need to issue a policy at the appropriate pricing, and to not have to worry about the language and exclusions and such in the policy.
That's exactly right. There's with a lot with different occupations, different avocations, different medical histories and financial histories and criminal histories.
Mhm.
There needs to be a context, and the straight automated input process does not allow you to set that. And I will also add that there's glitches in the reliance of databases. I mean, I myself have gone to my local Walgreens, and they had and to pick up a prescription, and they said, oh, here it is. I said, no, this is not our prescription. It's not the right medication. Oh, it's under your name. Well, it's not the right one. You filed it incorrectly. So, if let's suppose that was a narcotic painkiller.
Yeah.
If I had applied for life insurance, and the system relied on this database of prescriptions, they would have thought that I am on some kind of narcotic painkiller.
Well, and
Now,
related, there again, to expand on the whole, database thing. So for instance, like my wife had foot surgery, and the doctor just automatically prescribed, painkillers and all the other things. Well, my wife didn't take painkillers. She doesn't believe
right.
in taking that, but it shows up on that database. So that would need an explanation that you'd have to give to the human underwriter. The system doesn't know how to process that. So she would have got kicked out of, this accelerated underwriting. So it just takes explanation a lot of times.
That's exactly right. I mean, I never take painkillers. Nobody in my family takes painkillers, and we're always
Yeah.
prescribed painkillers. Each
Yeah.
one of us says, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So that's yet another reason to work with somebody who's in the field, because even this the not even the world of data has a lot of misleading information, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Good.
what else do we need to know, Darren?
Um, I guess just to wrap it up in that regard is I don't know if we scared anybody or concerned anybody, but it is a positive. It's there to, make life easier for a number of people. And I always assure clients when I'm talking to them initially, if you don't qualify, for accelerated underwriting, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean they don't like you. It doesn't mean you're not going to get a great policy at the same price that we quoted you up front. It's just, it's just a rules based system. And if we can get through without an exam, I always say just plan on getting an exam. You're getting free blood work, free.
Right.
You're getting a free exam. It'll be fine. And this will evolve over time, and we'll see where it goes, but we'll keep our fingers on the pulse of what's going on out there and keep all our people informed.
That's it. You need your broker to be an advocate, and it can be a nine inning ball game, and people tend to take a bumps in the road personally, and I don't blame them.
Mhm.
That's the whole purpose of being a guide. The guy says, "Oh, if you go right around this bump, the path is clearer." That's true in any profession. So good. All
Good.
righty, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much, Darren. That was very illuminating. I really appreciate that.
Good.
Everybody stay tuned to notifications about our upcoming seminars. We got a bunch of good ones, and we look forward to seeing everybody there. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, guys.